Well, I think I deserve all the praise and applause for the consistency that I have been showing this podcast. Welcome back, guys, to a brand new episode of Mentally I'm Here podcast with Hilary Starr. I am your host, Hilary Starr. Welcome back, guys. And I am so sorry for the appearance that I am casting upon your screens right now. If you are driving, please pull over. Make sure to switch to audio only because you do not. I mean, I don't. Can you switch to audio only? No, just don't look at me. Don't look at me. Because I did not have time to get pretty. And I know what you're saying. You're already so gorgeous. I know that. I just say that to get compliments out of you guys. So, but here's the thing. I have not been really taking care of my hair in regards to washing it consistently. I will wash it, but I I drench my hair in dry shampoo to the point where when I brush my hair, it feels as stiff as cornstarch because I have so much dry shampoo in my hair that it just simply cannot hold. Honestly, it can hold its own form. If I stack my hair right now and like brush it upwards, I guarantee you that it will probably stay up because that's how much dry shampoo I have in my hair. Actually, a funny story. I got PR from K18, which is one of my all-time favorite hair care brands. I have been using the shampoo now for a few years, and I used to be a huge Olaplex girly, but then I've come to realize that Olaplex wasn't really the best option for my hair, and K18 has really taken my hair out of the trenches with I use the detox shampoo and the pH balance shampoo, and those two have just been game changers for my hair. So with that being said, they kindly sent me their dry shampoo, which I don't know if it's out now. I don't know if it's a new release and it hasn't been out yet, and I'm just one of the luckiest people in the world to be experiencing this dry shampoo for the first time before anybody else. But the texture of it is interesting because it's like a wet spray. Like it's a spray and it's wet, but it dries down. And so, as someone with curly, frizzy hair, that's a little alarming for someone that just blew out her hair and like the next day, I just want a little refresh. I don't want to have to wet and dry my hair all over again and wash it, so I just want a little dry shampoo moment. But that is like a spray, and then they recommend that you spray like 1 to 3 times and then massage and then style, and then it dries down eventually. So I tried it and it was really nice, but the problem was I sprayed a little too much, and so when I sprayed a little too much, now my hair feels kind of stiff. It almost feels like there's something in my hair, like I have a treatment in my hair and I have to wash it out. So that's kind of the reasoning for this. And also, I didn't want to wash my hair and leave it curly because I have this whole thing of like curly hair, and my curly hair never looks good. And I've had curly hair for 30 years. I just aged myself. I'm 29. I've had my curly hair for 29 years. And listen, if there's one thing that I can only really speak passionately about. There's a lot of things that I can speak passionately about, but struggling with having curly hair and trying to pick a decent outfit, and also my hair what am I saying? My hair determines how my day is gonna go and what I'm gonna wear when like the day comes. What? So you know how like some people, well, I am like this. I say, if my bed is not fixed in the morning, I'm going to have a very bad day, and all the chaos that comes with it is going to send me over the edge. And then there are the days where when I do fix my bed, any chaos that comes my way is not going to be that bad because my bed is fixed. And then when my bed is fixed, I'm also cleaning up the messes along the way in my bedroom. And so now my room is cleaned and picked up. So when my room is messy, everything else that feels messy around me almost feels like an empire collapsing. When society collapses, the government collapses, and it's just, it's like the Roman Empire. Like it just eventually it will cease to exist. So I make sure to fix my bed in the morning because then it really kickstarts a great day for me. So when it comes to my hair, don't know the correlation between that. But when my hair looks nice, I know I'm going to have a good day and I know I'm going to feel really fucking good about myself. But when my hair is curly, we're going to have a problem because I can't tell you what my hair is going to do that day when it's curly, because I've had my curly hair for 29 years and I can't tell you the last time that I had a good hair day when my hair was curly. And there's a lot of factors, right? Because there's different types of curly hair. I have the curly frizzy type and I also have short curly hair. So when my hair curls up, I look like I'm in a lesbian 80s rock band, which is not a bad thing, but it's not good when I have very broad shoulders and I'm a little chunky and my face is a little big. And then when you match that with the big hair, there's just a little, and it's all self-image. This is all me. This is all me doing that to myself because I don't feel pretty. And that's very sad because I should feel pretty regardless. And there's only certain hairstyles when my hair is curly that I look okay in. But also, I have kind of fucked it up because when I cut my hair and when I get my haircuts in general, which is not very frequent, I don't get my hair cut with curly hair. I get my hair cut with my hair blown out or with the purpose of getting my hair blown out. So the shape of the curls almost makes me look like Johnny Depp in the Alice in Wonderland movies. Like I look like the Mad Hatter. I don't look like a very beautiful, who's like a curly celebrity that I'm like envious of their curls. I don't know, Shakira or something. You know what I mean? Like they just really know how to pull it off. And that's also the thing. Like if I had longer curly hair, I would be able to walk around with curly hair without a doubt. But unfortunately, that is not my reality. So I don't know where I was going with this. And welcome back, guys, to a brand new episode. But I can't wear certain things with curly hair. And for those of you that have curly hair, can you relate? Can you not? Do you know what I'm talking about? There are just some outfits that I cannot wear when my hair is a certain way. If my hair is greasy and I have to put it up, I can't make my outfit match with greasy hair. I gotta go with a very, very casual, if not athletic look, because there's a chance that I have to slick my hair down, and that's also not good because I look like an egghead, I look like the monster from from Beetlejuice, you know, the one with the really broad shoulders and the small head. That's what I feel the moment I feel like I have to press my hair against my scalp. Not that long ago, I went to Cold Springs with my friend and my sister, and they were actually making fun of me because I did a hairstyle that, not gonna lie, I kind of look like Catherine O'Hara in Beetlejuice because I did like this weird thing where my hair was very attached to the side of my face and I looked like Catherine O'Hara's character in Beetlejuice. And so I swore to never wear that hairstyle ever again. I didn't wear the right outfit. I kind of looked like Michael Jackson in that one music video. God, I don't even want to think about that. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Hair, outfits. I feel like that can go with a lot of different hairstyles and, you know, different hair textures. But specifically, there are just some outfits that I cannot wear with my curly hair. And that comes from a long line of being Dominican and being a part of a culture where curly hair is deemed messy and unkept and not cool to wear with nice, pretty dresses and nice business casual attire. The first thing I think of is business casual, but you know what I mean? Like there's just in that culture, in my culture that I love so much, we have been groomed to believe that and indoctrinated to believe that curly hair is just very messy and unkept, and we should not strive to want to have curly hair. I've grown to embrace it, but I think the years of just straight up blow drying and flat ironing my hair, I have just never fully learned how to properly style and wear my hair. And also, like, a lot of products, curly products, just don't work for me. And I don't know if I just am not looking in the right place, but I did find one brand, and that is Rizos Curls, and honestly, Ceremonia, that's another brand. They are the only brands that make my hair look so nice when it's curly, because there are a lot of products that make my hair very crunchy curly and then very, like, the curls are not being held up and looking moisturized. Like, it looks moisturized, but they're not being held up. And Rizos Curls and Ceremonia, they do a really great job at like making my hair look healthy and moisturized, but also not losing the form in my curls. Because you know how sometimes you have like the curls and then somewhere in your head you have like the straight strands or like the curly hairs that just aren't holding up, and you're just slowly raising your fingers ready to pluck every individual hair and leaving multiple bald spots in your head. But you know, we just have to be patient with ourselves because it is a journey. Curly hair journeys are a thing for a reason. And even discovering the type of curly hair I have and recognizing that the reason I have frizzy hair is because I have curly hair, and my sister has different curly hair than me, and I wish I had her curly hair because she can just, you know, wet it and that's it, and then it looks nice. But she doesn't have volume. I have a lot of volume. So I'm like, I think I like mine better. I'm just a hater. She has the body, she has the face, she has everything. Fucking bitch, such a show off. My hair is so stiff that no hairstyle looks right. So this is why I have the pins and I have a hair clip here on the back of my head, because I just, you know, and I'm rocking the Billy shirt. You know, I got 3 Billy shirts at the concert. I didn't think I was such a fan of yellow until I started wearing certain shades, and then I was like, you know, this shade of yellow isn't too bad. And my aesthetic is late 90s, early 2000s, and I feel like a lot of yellow, like bright yellows, were very prominent back then. So this kind of reminded me of like a shirt that my mom had back in the early 2000s. I was watching Sex and the City, and Carrie Bradshaw, which, by the way, I need to talk about the show because I just finished it. She was eating a grape, and I just pictured the times that I've bitten down on grapes that have seeds in it. And I just wanted to ask you guys, have you ever felt the displeasure of biting into a grape with seeds in it? And was it not the most nasty thing you have ever done in your life? I don't do much on a daily basis. In fact, these past few days I've been spending most of my time watching TV shows and finishing TV shows, and I just started playing Fortnite again yesterday. I was an avid Fortnite player. I started last year in November. Wow, coming up on the 1-year anniversary. And I was playing every single day. And then I stopped fully, I want to say October, September actually, because then I started playing The Sims. And then I got really into The Sims. And then I finally learned how to download mods fully, because before I used to have no idea. And listen, only true Sims players play The Sims in that way. I play The Sims 3, the superior Sims. I like the other Sims, but for me it's Sims 3, Sims 2, Sims 1, Sims 4. Sims 4, I like Sims 4. That's the thing. Like, it's not a game that I don't like, but the chaos that the other Sims have provided just does not match with the new Sims. And like, I don't care how many mods or downloadable content you can get. It's just not matched. And also, I feel like the lack of downloadable content made the game more exciting, because now with The Sims 4, there's so much downloadable content. And I even see, like, when people play The Sims, they alter the games to the point where, like, the game doesn't even look like a Sims game. It looks like IMVU. And I know you know what I'm talking about. If you like The Sims and you play The Sims and you watch people do Sims playthroughs, you know what I'm talking about when I say that there are just some people that take it too far with the downloadable content, and they have their characters looking like a 3D alternate reality website where you find the pedophiles and the foot fetish people, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with a little foot fetish. I myself I don't have a foot fetish, but I'm actually actively looking for anyone who might have any insight on how to begin selling your feet. What do I have to do? Gotta get regular pedicures. I'm pretty sure I gotta invest in a good camera. I have a good camera. Maybe a nice setting. Maybe put my toes in the snow. And maybe, go with the seasons and like maybe get a few like little miniature Santa hats for the holidays. And I can put a Santa hat on the big toe and like little elf hats on the little toes. Do they like toe rings? Do they like anklets? Like nails painted? Should I let my nails grow out and then file them down so that way they're all pointed? And like I would love to know, because like seriously, like, and I'm being dead ass right now, like I need more money. And I think that selling feet pic is a great way, because I don't have to show my face. I don't have to have my full government name out there, and I'm just making money. I am just squeezing out these fetish folk for every penny that they have. And I have gotten DMs of sugar daddies left and right, and I just go to Andrew and I'm like, please, what do I have to do? What do I have to do for me to get your permission to like just respond to one? Let me just respond to one. Let me just, some of them are just like, I have a few messages, honestly, on TikTok. There's like something weird going on TikTok where a lot of bots are getting into my DMs, and they are just, but you know what? It makes me feel kind of special. It's just too many. Okay, see? 9 hours ago. Hello, gorgeous. Have you ever had a sugar daddy online or any bad feelings towards a sugar daddy? No offense, though. I'm just asking, okay? He looks so freaking sweet. And is this guy even legit? Honestly, he kind of looks like he's legit, because he's from Florida. Trump supporter. And he's Hispanic. Definite Trump supporter. But he looks so sweet. Like, he looks like he would maybe just like give me money and not want anything else. Someone DM'd me the other day, can I cash app you some money? Of course. I'm not going to say no. What else? Honestly, your profile peaked. They spell peaked not the way it should be. Peaked. They spelled it Piqued. We're coming up with new words on here. Piqued my attention, and so I thought I should contact you. How are you, beautiful? Do you need someone to help you financially? If yes, text me back. And there's just that inkling, that feeling of just, let me just respond to one person to see who is legit. I don't know how we went from biting into a grape with seeds to selling feet pics and asking for advice. I am not hydrated, right? So I have like this issue with this podcast, right? And it's like very hard for me to do. I have a hard time transitioning into different subjects and different topics. So I have here from the displeasure of biting into a grape with seeds on it to I love having my collection of lotions next to my bed. Because listen, if there's something that brings me so much joy at night, besides rubbing my feet together like a grasshopper in between my cold Brooklyn sheets, it is when I get to put on some delicious, like absolutely beautifully smelling lotions before bed. And I am very particular with the lotions that I keep next to my bed, because I have lotion distributed around my house, mostly my bedroom and my bathroom. So in my bedroom, I have 3 lotions next to my bed. I have a few in my dresser that I use when I'm like brushing my hair and like doing my skincare. And then I have some lotions in the bathroom. So sometimes, but I have since taken out most of the lotions in the bathroom, because there's something that happens in the bathroom that I can't get myself to put on lotions or oils or anything like that. So a lot of the stuff that I use ends up going bad if I only keep it in the bathroom. I have to move it to the bedroom for that specific reason. Like I said, I have no explanation as to why the moment I get out of the shower, I immediately dry my body and I don't feel like putting on lotions or oils or anything in there. I have to transfer my body into my bedroom, and that is where the ritual begins of hydrating, lathering, maybe a slight humming where I can sing a tune to myself and like really get in the mood, dim the lights, and that is just really turning off a few lamps because I don't use ceiling lights. I would never. I'm not psychotic. And just really diving into the world of the routine of nighttime shower. And I think it's also because my bathroom is not very comfortable. And I think that's what oh my God, that's what it is. My bathroom is not comfortable enough for me to sit there and honestly stand there and start rubbing lotion on myself. My toilet isn't comfortable. It's just not a good setting, babes. If I had a bigger bathroom and a chair, oh, I would 100% have like a little table right next to it where I would have my favorite lotions and oils along with a candle that costs more than a meal at Wendy's. And I would really make that an experience. But we moved to the bedroom, right? I have my lotion. I'm doing my skincare routine on the dresser where I have all my skincare products. I'm doing my skincare routine. After I do my skincare routine, then I put on lotion because I don't want to put on lotion and then put on my skincare because then I'm putting on body lotion on my face and that's just not right. So what I do is I put on my skincare routine, then I do my body lotion. Maybe I mix the body oil also, but body oil does absorb better when you have wet skin. So I do keep a body oil in the bathroom just in case I remember. But that's also the thing. Do I remember? Probably not. But nonetheless, even down to the scent, I'm very particular about what scents I have next to my bed that will make the experience of putting lotion on in bed, before bed, even more pleasurable. And so like the lotions that I have next to my bed are very light, but very before bed scented. So like very light, rosy, light florals, light linen scents, you know, like just the very, it's like a faint smell of like rose petals, petunias, my asshole, just beautiful, beautiful scents that really complement any body that's about to really go into a deep rest. Which leads me to my next subject. I finished Pretty Little Liars. You see, I'm horrible at transitions because where was this going? Where was this going? It was going nowhere. But I just like talking about random stuff. And I hope that you guys have a nice collection of lotions next to your nightstand. And I would love to hear lotion recommendations. Thank you so much. I finished Pretty Little Liars. I really want to get into that because this is the last time I'm talking about Pretty Little Liars unless something comes up in the near future where I feel like talking about it again. But for now, this is it. First of all, I was very disappointed in thinking that Charlotte was not A and like we were just kind of being fucked with. I thought I was going to be someone a little more impactful, you know, someone that really would have left a dent in me. And I was reading some Reddit threads from even back then, like in 2017, 2016, 2018, when A was first revealed as Charlotte. And I was like, okay, I'm not the only one that feels this way, where it's like, it felt so anticlimactic and so like I was about to climax, but something happened where I thought about like my parents or I thought about like my cousins and immediately I'm like, yeah, I'm not reaching the climax. So we found out that Charlotte was A. That was very anticlimactic and not very much of an interesting plot line because it really took me out of the experience. And I was like, okay, like what next? Season 7 starts. Tell me how Charlotte dies. And I'm like, I mean, okay, like I guess that's good. I mean, not good, but not start of season 7, start of season 6. She dies, looks like a suicide, but it's definitely not. And I was like, okay, something juicy, finally. And then it's ruled as a homicide. And they're like, oh my God, we're ruling this as a homicide. And I'm just like, okay. And so throughout the season, you're like, damn, like who killed Charlotte now? Like it just goes. So that's why I was like, there's no way that she was A. Like A was someone else, right? And so you kind of go through the season thinking that you're going to get another bombshell thrown at you, only to realize that you were kind of fucked with. And I was jerked around and left without reaching climax. I'm so sorry that I'm like using a lot of sexual innuendos and just being very sexual. But, that's what it feels like. I feel like I was very let down. I feel like I was deceived by the creators of the show. And there's like a lot of theories that I read on Reddit saying that apparently the show got, like, the A reveal got leaked, and so they had to change the ending completely, because then we get to end of season 6 and Hannah was kidnapped, and I'm just like, so many unrealistic moments in that show, by the way. Can we talk about Jenna, the blind girl, walking around the house with a gun trying to shoot 5 girls, and you're telling me these 5 girls couldn't tackle Jenna down? But Jenna had the power to be able to walk around blind with a gun and just not get tackled by one of these girls. Like, the only thought that was going through my mind was, you guys can just ram right through her, right? You can just tackle her to the ground and just take the gun. It's Pretty Little Liars. They're not really going to think everything through. And then season 6 finishes, season 7 comes around, and now it went from Pretty Little Liars to Jumanji. Now I'm watching Jumanji because this stupid game came into play, and I'm like, where did this game fucking come from? All of a sudden, like, now they're playing a game, and I would say that that's where they really lost me. At that point, I was just rushing to finish the show because I was like, this is getting so lame, and I don't know how they had to go into work every day and act out this bullshit of a show, because I would have been like, can one of you guys just like kill me off? And it can be really easy, because in this show, you can kill someone off pretty easily, and you just throw it in there and we have to accept it and just take it up the ass, and that's it. So season 7 came around, and then that was a complete shit show, because then by the last 2 episodes, we were all of a sudden introduced to Spencer's evil twin. Where did she come from? Which is why apparently there's that theory that A got spoiled, and so they had to change the ending completely, or like something happened where it wasn't supposed to be an evil twin of Spencer's, but they ended up making it like that. And so like in turn, it made the whole show seems very rushed. I felt like I didn't get a chance to, like, if Spencer did have an evil twin, why didn't we get to know her earlier? Why didn't I get to the time to like see a little more of her story and like understand why? Because Charlotte being A made no sense. Like, she was just being a hater, and I think that's what made it very anticlimactic. It's the fact that with Allison being such a shitty person as a young teenager, the person that was after her wasn't someone that was seeking revenge of, like, I thought it was, what was his name? Lucas, or even, who's a girl from Nes Declassified? Oh my God, her name is escaping. Paige. I thought Paige would have been a great A. Or even Mona, even though Mona was A, and then she wasn't, and then she was shady again, and then she wasn't shady, and then she was on their side, and then in season 7 she was like playing the game, and so she was very flip-floppy. And then I even thought Melissa could have been a good one, Spencer's sister, well, now half sister, because now we just found out that Spencer's mom wasn't actually her mom, and her real mom was Allison's mother's sister, twin sister. All these twins coming out of the woodwork. So she was her daughter, and she had twins, and then her evil twin Alex was sent to London. She found out that Spencer was living a good life and was in love. I mean, she was a teenager and she had a boyfriend. I don't understand how jealous you can be of a simple life as living in Rosewood and having a boyfriend. And so she wanted that, and she plotted against everybody in order to replace Spencer and live her life. And I'm just like, it just makes no fucking sense whatsoever. And so, like, with that being said, like, there was no attachment. So finding out that she was AD, I'm like, that's so fucking stupid. And like, honestly, even when the show finished, I let out a sigh of relief. I let out such a deep sigh of like, war is over. This is the moment that I've been waiting for. Thank God it finished. And it was funny because someone was telling me, I got a few DMs of people telling me, like, imagine having to wait years for that kind of ending. I'm like, the way I would have sued, was it ABC? What was the network that released Pretty Little Liars? I'm pretty sure it was ABC. Whatever, whoever was in charge, whoever was the director of this, I would have filed a class action lawsuit against the show because I would have wasted, what was that, 6, 7 years of my life just waiting for something so impactful, only for me to get a light slap on the wrist. Like, I wanted a bulldozer. No, I wanted to be body slammed against a window or like a building. I don't know. It was so bad. And it was, and even Andrew was just getting whiplash of all this because I'm watching the show and he's next to me and he's just like, are you almost done with the show? And I'm like, imagine being the one watching it. And he's like, the show is so bad. I'm like, it's horrendous, but I know I'm gonna miss it now that it's over. I'm like, damn, I don't have any more Pretty Little Liars, and I kind of want to not watch it again, but like, have like a few episodes playing in the background here and there. I don't hate it. You know what I mean? I hate the time I wasted on it because it seems like a really big waste of a time of a show. Arya was pissing me off because also the plot line with the book of Ezra's book and then like his wife that went missing and got kidnapped. It's like the most berserk shit that I've heard in my life. I'm like, none of this is making any sense. And it's like, why? Because, I know that shows have different plot lines. They have different stories and a lot of side quests. But this side quest did not feel like it was very necessary. It felt very, because you know what? We dedicated a lot of time to hearing about this stupid book. And I'm like, I don't care. It added nothing to the conversation. And now I will say that Ezra is kind of hot. Like season 7 Ezra, I was like, okay, I get it. I would have fucked him if I was his student too. But either way, Allison, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, the show overall, like it's one of those shows where everybody's kind of like well off. Arya goes to her honeymoon and all is well in the neighborhood, I guess, for now. Because then the show finishes where it kind of like restarts. Like the new high schoolers experienced one of their friends missing, which is how Pretty Little Liars started in the first place. Which makes you wonder, which I need to do my own research on that, but is there like a spinoff? Because if there was, which one is it? And if there is talks of a spinoff, would the original cast be back? And did they take acting classes within that time? Because I think I can work with that, New director maybe, But either way, great show. Not a great show, but great show. I also finished Sex and the City. And the ending really infuriated me because Carrie really pisses me off. There's many moments that just make me want to say, Carrie, get the fuck up. Every time she would show up at Big's door and like be super seductive and super sexy, and then like he would take her back and she would take him back and she would dump her boyfriends, who were great, by the way. Who was the one that smoked cigarettes and then he stopped? I don't know. I haven't seen the first season in months. I just restarted it not that long ago after finishing it. So I'm just now going to pay attention more to it. There's something that I like to do with TV shows. If they're good enough, I will restart it because there are things that I don't notice the first time I watch it compared to the second time. When I watch shows the second time, I notice things that sometimes are like right in front of your face, but I would not have seen that the first time watching it. And I want to do that for Game of Thrones too. I don't know why, but I have been itching to do a full class of one, full course of me rewatching all of Game of Thrones with a notebook in my hand, taking notes and watching it all throughout from season 1 up to season, how many seasons was it? 8? was it 8 seasons? I have no idea, but I want to do that where I just sit and plant myself. Well, not plant myself, obviously, because that is quite a dedication. It's like almost an hour long per episode, and it's like 12, 13 episodes per season. But I really want to sit and dedicate myself and watch every single season, take notes on the characters, on the plots, because watching it the first time, I was very confused. I could not talk to people about Game of Thrones because of how confused I was most of the time about anything that was happening in the show. And that show is very dialogue heavy, and a show that's pretty dialogue heavy and doesn't have a lot of action up until a little later in the show can really lose me, because as someone with ADHD, you gotta throw in a little bit of drama or something that is visually very impactful for me to be like, okay, we're cooking with oil here. Is it cooking with oil or cooking with fire? We're cooking with fire. We're cooking with fire. No. I'm Hillary, and welcome back to Mentally I'm Here podcast. I am your host, Hillary Starr, and we're just going to keep going because... but yeah, last thing about Sex and the City, Carrie pisses me off, but I feel like she is one of the most real characters that I have ever seen in TV show history, because I think there's a lot of Carries in our lives. You might be a Carrie, and that's probably why you hate her so much. For the people that like genuinely hate her, I'm like, there's a chance that you might have had experience with a Carrie in your life, or you might be a Carrie yourself. And I think it's time to do a little bit of self-analyzing. And I think that's why it's like frustrating to watch, because it's like, it's such a real human emotion where it's like, especially as a woman, where you get so attached to someone that doesn't show you attention and you want them to show you attention. And so you kind of chase them. That chase, it feels okay for the moment, but then when you step outside of your reality and you look from the outside in, you realize how psychotic you look chasing a man. So that's why I say, Carrie Bradshaw, get the fuck up, because it looks cute in the beginning, but then it gets to a point where it's like, come the fuck on. I could not believe that she got back with Big at the end, and her friends were not hating on Big enough. They were not giving her shit for it enough, which is fine. Miranda was always my favorite. I feel like she was the most real, especially towards the end when Carrie wanted to go to France to live with a Russian, which again, chasing men, wanting to give up her career, give up her life, her apartment. Girl, like, you know how hard it is to... I mean, that was back in the early 2000s, but Miranda was the only one that really drilled into her, being like, what about your career? What about your life? And Charlotte, being the good woman that she is, when Big was talking to all the girls and he was like, I know I haven't been, your favorite person. And Charlotte's like, no, you have. And Samantha and Miranda were like, yeah, no. It's so funny. Charlotte York is so, like, she's so sweet. And I'm like, yeah, could never be me. But I love her either way. She's so gorgeous too. Okay, moving along on the docket. Ooh, we're going to talk about my Spotify playlist. And I had to talk about it at least once in depth in an episode, because I don't think you guys understand how passionate I am about music, just the sound of music and how music feels to me and what it makes me feel and the things that it does to me. Like, it just, if there's one thing that I can be very passionate about and say it with every fiber of my being, if the two brain cells in my mind can just rub together, create a little bit of friction, a little bit of steam, it is that I love music so much. That and The Sims and foot massages and chocolate milkshakes. I have like quite a list of things that I love, and music is at the top. So I want to break down my Spotify playlist because I love sharing my love for music. I am very, very, very I'm very particular about how I organize my playlists, and I'm very proud of them. I have them linked in my bio, like on my social media platforms. You can check them out. Please do, because I love music, and if you love music, you will love the music that I love, because I like good music, and I've been like that since I was a kid. So we're going to break them down. We're going to go through each playlist, and I'm going to tell you guys what they're for, what kind of mood we're going for when we listen to these kind of playlists, and what you can expect when you're listening to one of these playlists. So I'm going to just go in the order that I have it currently. It changes with time. It changes when, I feel like the playlist should be at the top. So like with the holidays coming up, I have my Christmas playlist all the way at the top. When it's raining a lot in the spring, especially, and like in the fall sometimes, I put my driving on a rainy day playlist at the top. So I'm just going to go in the order that I currently have it. The first one that I have, boom, Christmas. Christmas is coming up. That's the first playlist that I have. And I am a big fan of older Christmas music. I don't know. I think there's like a very nostalgic side to my love for old Christmas music. I think that's why I prefer it over the newer stuff. But there's like newer things like not Katy Perry, Kelly Clarkson and Ariana Grande's new song. What's the song called? I don't know what it's called, but it's like one of my favorite more new Christmas songs. Other than that, I am big on old Christmas music, and I love Christmas choirs. I don't know why, but it's something that like really solidifies the Christmas holiday for me. It just really makes me feel like Christmas is in town, and suddenly I want to go to church. I want to donate to a good cause. I want to give my time, maybe go Christmas caroling. Whenever I hear a Christmas choir, that's how I know the holidays are here. And then I have like the classics. We have Frank Sinatra, Celine Dion. I have Enya. I have songs from Home Alone, Michael Bublé, and of course, Josh Groban. And yeah, just a bunch of good stuff. So for the first playlist, I have here the Nancy Meyer Core playlist. And this playlist is for the listener who loves to stay at home on a Friday night with a nice glass of wine, no ceiling lights needed, a nice comfy linen shirt, and we're about to make some dinner, maybe like a pasta dinner, and we want to listen to some Norah Jones, Amos Lee, maybe some John Mayer. If you know who Nara Smith, if you know who Nancy Meyer is, if you know her movies, she has a lot of movies from like the late 90s, early 2000s, where there is a very specific theme, and that is just homey, cozy, traditional, maybe even some coastal mixed into that. And it's just very comfy, cozy vibes, and you just really want to read a good book under a very warm, cozy blanket, sipping on some tea or some coffee. I, on the other hand, will not be doing any of those things. I will most likely be watching a TV show and not listening to music if I'm cozying up in a blanket. I wish I can read a book and period. I wish I can read a book, period, and cozy up. Because like, you know how people like go like, oh, I can just cozy up to a good book with this, and like, oh, I just want to read a book and I love reading. And I'm like, teach me your ways. I can't even read a text without getting distracted and like immediately thinking about something else and not really focusing on what it is that I'm reading. So that's something that I struggle with. But this playlist, again, is for the person who is feeling in love, or maybe just in love with yourself and a nice glass of wine, or again, a nice hot cup of tea or your coffee. I have mostly 90s and early 2000s artists, but I also threw in Lofi. Is that how you pronounce it? Lofi? Lofi. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. But her music is very like jazz. She has such a buttery, smooth voice, and it just fits perfectly with that kind of aesthetic of just a very cozy night where we are making dinner for one or two, you and your dog or your significant other or spouse, and we're just really gonna hang out and kick it back. And then I have like a little more upbeat music in here too, like John Mayer. That's always a great time, but it's not too intense, like it's not crazy rock. It's just like a very nice, casual, easy listening kind of rock. The next playlist, this one is one of my favorites. It's my Silk playlist, and it's pretty much voices and beats that will make you feel as though you're rubbing silk. Why do I have that as a description? I was really in my feels when I was making this playlist. I was feeling all types of smooth and silkiness. But this is your Sade's, your Naomi Sharon's, your Ravina, some Frank Ocean, we have Yeba, we have Georgia Smith, November Ultra. I'm telling you, I love this playlist so much because it's just very slow R&B, maybe some kind of like vocal jazz in there too. I have Brent Faiyaz, Cleo Sol, I love her so much, Giveon, Thames. I have some Tyler the Creator. Did I mention Frank Ocean? I have some Frank Ocean in here. Just beautiful silky voices that are just so warm to the touch that the moment their voices hit your eardrums kind of melt off and you can see like the juices coming out of your ears. But it's okay, you haven't gone deaf, your eardrums just melted and you were just listening to good, buttery, silky smooth music. If I had to pick one music genre that I have to listen to for the rest of my life and I can't listen to anything else, it's gonna be R&B, soul. Like this is my music. I also have Norah Jones in here, but Norah Jones is like a different kind of silky smooth voice. Like it's not like the beats of R&B. Like hers is almost folkish and almost like kind of like country, but not too country. I'm not a big fan of country, so luckily that's not the realm that she really goes in. I mean, there are a few songs that sound a little country. I have a few Kehlani songs, Billie Eilish. There's one Chappell Roan song that's actually very fitting to this playlist. Of course, I have Lo-fi. Ooh, and I recently discovered this artist. Her name is Cyprel. And again, it's like that slow R&B. Please listen to her. And I want to hear her like in like a jazz band just singing her heart out. I feel like she would sound so ethereal. Okay, next playlist. This one is called It's Her World You're Living In. And this playlist is for the girly pop who is living in her own world, and anybody that enters it has to accustom to the culture around them, which is, you know, Chappell Roan, which I recently discovered this year, and I have loved every single song. Honestly, not every single song, but most of her songs. Billie Eilish. I have Lana Del Rey, which I recently discovered, and no, let me take that back. No, I'm kidding. I've always known about Lana Del Rey, but when I say I recently discovered, I mean that I recently appreciated her music. I have always been a fan of Summertime Sadness. What's the other one? Young and Beautiful. I have always been a fan of those songs, and like a few songs that I would hear here and there throughout the years, but I never really gave her the opportunity to sing her heart out to me. And the one time I really dedicated some time to sit back and listen, I begged for forgiveness. I hope she forgives me wherever she is. And you know, it was a moment, because I was like, wow, I really missed out on her music because it's like really good. And I don't know, whenever I would listen to her songs, it wouldn't hit as hard. I don't know what's changed in the past few years. I think I'm expanding my love for music even more because I'm very big on listening to music that's like older. I have like a very old soul when it comes to music. I used to be very into like 50s and then 70s, like hippie rock and psychedelic rock. And then the 80s, I went through a hardcore 80s phase. And now I'm in my 90s, early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s phase. But yeah, Brooklyn Baby, I have that shit on repeat. And again, I've been hearing this song random shows and just random places since this first came out, but I've never like actually fully listened to it. And when I fully listened to it and submerged myself in the experience, I was sold. Of course, I have Sabrina Carpenter. I have Hozier in here. Hozier is a girly pop that I'm getting into also. Take Me to Church was like one of the songs that I was introduced to when I first heard of him, and then Work Song, and then what is it? The other one, like People Do, like Good People Do. I don't know, but that one was really good too. I have Ariana Grande. It's just a mix of a lot of pop, rock, rap, folk, obviously with Hozier. I have Kanye West, I have Bad Bunny, I have Drake, Nicki, I have Mitski in here. Mitski is an artist I recently discovered, and I like her stuff. It's definitely an acquired taste, you know, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but there are a few songs that I'm listening to and I'm like, I can get down with this. But sometimes when there's songs that like aren't taking me to a place, and again, I listen to the music first. If the music isn't appealing to me, I don't care how popular the song is, I am not going to listen to it and I am not going to like it. There's so many popular songs that are very liked by people, and because the music is bad, I can't get into the song overall. The lyrics, because that's the thing, like I listen to the music, but I also listen to lyrics. If the music is bad, I'm listening to the lyrics next. Blah, blah. I'm listening to the lyrics next. And if the lyrics are not good and the music is bad, I'm not going to hear the song and I'm just not going to be submerged into the experience. So I have like all of Beyonce's recent album, which honestly, I can delete most of the songs. I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of the songs in this country album because I'm not a big country music listener. But there's a few songs in here that I actually really like. I have Kali Uchis, Karol G. We got some Tavlo. I have Willow. Also Adele. We got some Adele. Addison Rae. She has really taken me by surprise by her rebrand. The Diet Pepsi, personally, I love the song, but I feel like she was forcing a personality onto us. And maybe that's who she really always was. And listen, I don't know her personally, but something about the Diet Pepsi music video just wasn't feeling very authentic to me. It didn't feel like it was truly who she was. I feel like she was putting on a character. I feel like now, this recent song that she came out with, Aquamarine, I love that song so much. It's giving old school Madonna, very Vogue, very, not like a virgin, but more of her like Frozen. Oh my God. If I can mend your heart. Oh my God. If you've never listened to that album, I highly suggest you do. It's, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but I love music like that. Very ambient music. Definitely one of my favorites. Who else do I have here? Yeah, I have Billie Eilish. Love her. I have some Lord, sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. And then I have some Tyler, the Creator. He's an artist that I've been trying to get into, but again, I'm having a hard time. Getting into him, but I still like his art form. I like his art style. It's very unique. I feel like that's him. That's who he is, you know? And, I can appreciate that. Okay, moving on. So this next playlist, Driving on a Rainy Day, it is subjectively only, is subjectively a word? Did I just have a stroke? Because it is only music from the late 90s, early 2000s. And it is very calming, soft rock, maybe some acoustic guitar. There's some that like almost sound country, but they're not country. So I have Sting. I have some Radiohead. Oh, love me some Radiohead. I have Paula Cole. Who else? Lara Fabian, Tracy Chapman, Fast Car. One of my all-time favorite songs. That's in there with Better Off Alone by Alicia DJ. Crazy list. My list of all-time favorite songs it ranges from King of Pride Rock to Fast Car by Tracy Chapman, and then Better Off Alone by Alicia DJ. I have Boa in here also, which I discovered like a few years ago on TikTok because her song Duvet became really popular. Goo Goo Dolls. I have Elton John, Kenny G. Oh my God, I love the saxophone. It's one of my favorite instruments, and Kenny G really knows how to take me there with his music. So I have some some Kenny G, Nina Simone, oh my God, Celine Dion, like just one song. But again, it fits the narrative of driving on a rainy day, and you just got to listen to it to experience it. I also have the Sundays. I have some John Mayer, Dave Matthews Band. I have a lot of good shit, guys. And a lot of artists that I've never heard of from like the early 2000s, late 90s that were really popular back then. Okay, this next playlist I'm very proud of. It is super long. It is 22 hours and 25 minutes long. That is an extremely long playlist, and I would have to kill myself if this playlist for some reason gets erased. This is my pride and joy. POV, you're a teen in the early 2000s. If I was a teenager in the early 2000s, my CD collection would have every single one of these artists, top to bottom, no questions asked. And listen, I wasn't a teenager back in the early 2000s. I was but a child, a petite little child back in the early 2000s. And I still listened to most of these. Not really most of these. It was like a few of them. Like my first introduction to music was Celine Dion, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and Britney Spears, and then others that would like trickle in when I was listening to Z100, which is a popular radio station here in New York. But other than that, I was heavy into like the pop culture as Club 7. So this playlist is pretty much, if I was a teenager in the early 2000s, this is what my CD player would be, just running on fumes, because I would just be running it to the ground listening to these songs. So at the top, I have Boyz II Men. I also have some Avril Lavigne, obviously Backstreet Boys, as Club 7, Hanson, 98 Degrees, The Cranberries, Britney Spears, Blink 182, Gwen Stefani. We also have Kylie Minogue, Dream Street. Oh my God, Aaliyah. Who else do we have? Cher. Cher was also one of the first introductions into music that I've had. I remember I watched her Believe tour. It was on TV and I watched it with my mom and dad. And that was my first time watching a concert on the TV. And that was the Cher Believe tour. So those were stepping stones for me. Celine Dion, Cher, some powerful ass women, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and Britney Spears. 3LW, 18s, LFO, September, You'll Never See Me Again. Dun, dun. But that song is actually from 2006. I thought it was from the early 2000s, which technically is 2006 early 2000s, or is it like mid? It's mid. I would say it's mid. So Cry For You is more mid 2000s, but she still made the cut because it just sounds like a song from like really early on in the 2000s. So whatever. Mariah Carey, Enrique Iglesias, Dido, Oasis. I have Third Eye Blind, BB Mac, Morris, Club 7, Savage Garden, Train, 98 Degrees. I already said Paula Cole, Monica. We just have a lot of stuff. I have Radiohead too. And then I started mixing because I didn't want to only have pop. I wanted to add some rock, soft rock, and maybe some, this isn't psychedelic rock, like more heavy rock also. Green Day wouldn't be really heavy metal, but I have Green Day, Mazzy Star, No Doubt, Good Charlotte, Hoopstank, Macy Gray, Sade. I have like one Sade song in here. And yeah, it's just a mix of stuff. And then I have some Madonna, because Madonna is also that girl. And her album, Ray of Light, is, I would say it's like a stepping stone, because Ray of Light and Frozen are like one of the first songs that I was introduced of Madonna's. And this was when I used to dance. When I used to dance ballet, this was a song for one of the performances that we did. I didn't perform it. It was like the older group, and they did Frozen and Ray of Light. And that was my introduction of Madonna. And from there, I was like, this woman is my shining light. Okay, we're trudging along. We're moving along. Next playlist, we have EDM, but imagine you're floating in space. And there's a name for this type of EDM. It's called like transcendent house, or like something like, I just call it very ambient house music, or EDM, or trance music. I have Odessa. Lane 8 is like at my top. I recently discovered Lane 8 like last year and quickly made it to the top of some of my favorite newer artists that I've recently discovered. I have Disclosure, Elderbrook, Two Lanes, Clur. Doesn't sound like a real name, but just this playlist is for the person that like just really wants to go for a nice drive at night with the windows down. If it's too cold, you can roll it down just a little bit and just press your foot down on the gas a little too hard and just put your arms out of the window and just let the wind take you. Let the wheel tell you where you're going. If it's to hug a tree, you're hugging a tree. If it's into a family of 4 in a minivan, it's into a family of 4 in a minivan. This playlist is when you're just ready to let go, release your inhibitions, if you will, which is why it's called EDM. But imagine you're floating in space. Like you feel like you have no weight when you're listening to this. Like you just, I call it the white girl sway, where I'm just, you're just swaying your head, and if you like this kind of music, this playlist is perfect for you. It's carefully curated where the music isn't super like the words are very good and the music is also very moving. Like there's notes in the music that make you feel something. It makes me feel something. There's a lot of songs in here that really impacts me hard. Next playlist, Dawson's Creek Core. This is your typical coming of age, early 2000s TV show or movie. And this is that playlist for that. But it is mostly like soft rock, classic rock, maybe some folk, like just very chill music. Like it's nothing really too aggressive. And just, it's music that really makes you like just think. You're just like a struggling teen. The other one was like a teen bop, like I'm happy and I'm joyful and I'm a teenager in the early 2000s and nothing can stop me. This one is more like I hate my life. My beeper's not working. My hair isn't spiked enough today. My Lip Smackers lip gloss ran out today. And my favorite Bath and Body Works body splash, Sea Island Cotton, is sold out. Like that's the vibe that this playlist brings. And then it just makes you feel super like nobody understands me, nobody gets me, like just struggling teen. And I hope that this just makes anyone feel like that struggling teenager back in 2001. So I have Dido, I have all the classics, Radiohead, the Cranberries, the Wreckers, Gem, Plum, Sarah Brightman, Boys to... I even have Boys... Why do I have Boys to Men? That's not Dawson's Creek Core. Delete. I have Sister Hazel, Foo Fighters, Goo Goo Dolls, Boa, Gin Blossoms. I even have Sarah McLachlan. Now that woman can impact Mudang, for all we know. Like she can impact inanimate objects. I have Seal, Annie DeFranco, just a lot. And there's a lot of songs in this playlist. There's almost like the previous the POV you're a teen in the early 2000s. This is 26 hours and 45 minutes. So you're going to be stuck listening to this for a hot minute. So get ready. Strap in. It's going to be one hell of a ride. Gilmore Girls lovers, need I say more? This is an amazing playlist to listen to in the fall time predominantly, but I like to listen to it when I'm feeling kind of spunky and like if I'm going food shopping, I don't necessarily want to hear the driving on a rainy day playlist, but I want to stick to that theme of late 90s, early 2000s, soft rock, maybe some folk. And I could listen to the Dawson's Creek Core, but this one has a little more variety, a little more eclectic sounds. Whereas the Dawson's Creek Core is kind of like rock, where this one is like, has a little more diversity to it. And you're looking at listening to this for 19 hours and 29 minutes. But, just great. I have great stuff. I have Sean Colvin, Sting, Lara Fabian, Annie DeFranco, Alana Davis, Sarah McLachlan, of course, Nora Jones. I have some Sade, Paula Cole, The Sundays, and did I mention the Cranberries? I'm pretty sure I did. Moving on. This one is very nostalgic. This one is called Mommy in the Kitchen in the early 2000s. This one is for the Hispanic. Anybody can listen to it, but the people that can really relate to it are Hispanics that grew up with a mom who had a radio in the kitchen that was covered in sauce. And, obviously my mom would clean it as much as she could, but she had the radio in the kitchen and she was just blasting Chayanne, Maná, Juan Gabriel, Ana Gabriel, Juan Luis Guerra, Luis Miguel, Marco Antonio Solís, oh my God, Cristian Castro, the pillars. See, like I talk about those artists like Celine Dion, Cher, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Britney Spears, but then there's the Hispanic side, the Cristian Castro, the Marco Antonio Solis. They are the ones who also raised me and made me very emotional when it comes to music and looking for that emotion in music. They have definitely planted that seed inside of me. I even have Shakira, that album where her hands look kind of dirty. Donde están los ladrones? Why am I talking like I have never spoken Spanish a day in my fucking life? I have Selena, again, Luis Miguel, Julio Iglesias. So, you know, all the classics. We got to move on. We have a lot to get through and not that much time because I'm going to Applebee's. Woo! And I decided last minute to go to Applebee's with my sister. Okay, this one is a very nostalgic one. And honestly, you can kind of pair it with the POV You're a Teen in the early 2000s. But this one just has a special curation of songs. This one is called Summer as a 90s Kid. And this one is your playlist that you're going to listen to at a cookout, at a barbecue, with music, with a radio outside. Obviously now you have the Bluetooth radio, the Bluetooth speaker, but back then you had the radio playing Macarena and Cruel Summer and Heaven by Los Lonely Boys, Miami by Will Smith, which is insane that it even made the list, but just songs that make you feel like you're living in the summertime back in like 98, right? Or 2002. Just that feeling alone, you can already tell what kind of music you're going to be getting with that. A playlist I love to listen to whenever I just need to unwind and quiet the noise of the outside world is the You Like Jazz playlist. And if you don't understand the album cover, the playlist cover, if you have watched the movie, oh my God, wow, that was really horrendous. And I'm going to keep that in to really embarrass myself. But if you have never watched the movie, there's a scene where the bee tries to entice the girl, I think. And he's like, you like jazz? And so that just, honestly, it's just perfect for the cover of this playlist. And we have some of the greats. We have Chet Baker, Henry Mancini, John Coltrane. Love John Coltrane. I love his voice so much. There's an artist here, Jane Monet, but her last name is spelled Monheit. I've never heard of her, but I love her music. And she wasn't super popular because according to like the listens on Spotify, like not many people listen to her. Duke Ellington, Bill Evans, who else? Oh, I have some Ella Fitzgerald, Miles Davis, Wayne Shorter. I know I have some Nina Simone in here. Johnny Hartman. I also love. Just overall great stuff. Moving on. Then we have the 90s R&B. This used to be only female R&B, but I decided to open it up to the men because there's a lot of great 90s male R&B artists, and I didn't want to create a separate playlist, so I just kind of put it together and I started adding some male artists. So Miss Lauryn Hill, I bow at her feet. If I ever have the chance to meet her, I want to tell her how much I love her, her voice, her riffs. No one can sing like her. No one can replicate her voice. I have Sade, Groove Theory, Maxwell, Jill Scott, Mary J. Blige, Tania, obviously Aaliyah, Erykah Badu. I have Sade, Monica, Shanice, and then other artists that I haven't really. Oh, Toni Braxton, 702, and then some groups. But my favorite in this is Sade and Aaliyah, and obviously Miss Lauryn Hill and Erykah Badu. I have a lot of favorites in here, but yeah, give that one a listen. This next one, this is a summer playlist, but we're gonna skip forward to 2016 because nothing felt as amazing as summer 2016. And for that summer, I was a little more conscious because I was a teenager, young adult during that time. And what's crazy is that like a lot of these songs I used to hate listening to back then. Like whenever I would hear these songs on the radio or they would get recommended to me, I used to always skip it. But now there's like that nostalgic trait to these songs and like there's a memory within each song that now when I listen to it, it transports me back into that time, that now the music has become a part of me. So like the song Safe and Sound by Capital Cities, I used to hate it. I love it so much right now. A lot of Calvin Harris's music also wasn't my super favorite. I liked it. I would listen to it. But now it just sounds so much better because time has passed and now there's so much weight to these songs. I even have Maroon 5 Payphone. I could not stand that song for the life of me. I have Galantis, I have Avicii, a lot of house music in here, but nonetheless, amazing choices. Major Lazer, Lean On. All we need is somebody to lean on. We have some Icona Pop. I love it. What else do we have? We have the Chainsmokers. We have Alesso, Calvin Harris, Coldplay, Tiesto, and then it's like mostly. I really need to add like different genres because I'm pretty sure there was more than that. There was, Drake and other rap and R&B artists, but I really just went towards the EDM route with that. Speaking of EDM, my EDM Deliciousness playlist, this one I haven't spent a lot of time on, and I feel like I need to spend more time on this one because I love EDM so much. So much. Fred again, a recent discovery. Love that man. John Summit, Deadmau5. We got Seven Lions. Just a lot of like bass house music. Odessa. I also have Lane 8. Chris Lake. Who else? Elenium. Wire. There's a lot of firefighters, and I think it's because we have been having a dry season, and there might be a lot of fire starting around me, and that's just what happens when I play my playlist. To be honest, I have no control over what happens to my surroundings when my playlists start playing over my speakers. It's just absolute, it's shell shock. I have Wax Motif, Tim Berg, just, it's kind of a range. It's like the trance music and then super hardcore bass and then head banging type of EDM. So it's all there. And then we have 90s techno baddies only, which is a recent favorite of mine. And it's like your typical 90s and early 2000s trance and house music. And if you're a 90s techno baddie, you are allowed to listen to it. If you're not allowed to listen to it, the playlist will determine that, and it will send an electroshock through your body and push you out of the playlist. My iPod in high school is a triggering one because it just reminds me of middle school and high school, but I even have the Cheetah Girls in here and Hillary Duff, but I was listening to a bunch of shit. A lot of house, but then like pop and then rock. I didn't know what I liked at that time. And then that's why I went through like my hippie phase and like my 80s phase. But I have like T-Pain, Rihanna, Danity Kane, Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, Miranda Cosgrove. We got My Chemical Romance. Oh my God. I went through a heavy My Chemical Romance phase, and that was like when I went through like a little emo goth kind of phase. I should have known. It was just like, it was destiny. Like the moment my cousin introduced me to My Chemical Romance, I felt like I finally came home to the place where I belonged. What else do I got here? I have Paramore. I love them. The Killers, Black Eyed Peas, just a lot. Muse, Lady Gaga, Jordan Sparks, Neo, Boys Like Girls, Jonas Brothers. It's a lot. I have Lloyd, Bow Wow. The range is ungodly. You can tell at that time I was just listening to anything that was thrown in my direction or that I was able to download from LimeWire, which was a lot of music. And then I have my 80s playlist. If you know, you know. I don't even have to go into depth with that one, but at the top, I have Phil Collins, Kenny G, Michael Bolton, the kings of 80s music. And then I have Tears for Fears, The Cure, Scandal, Billy Ocean, Spandau Ballet, Steve Perry. I have some Celine Dion in here, Fleetwood Mac, Blondie, just the greats. So my 90s rom-com playlist sounds a lot like my Nancy Meyers playlist, but the difference is the Nancy Meyers playlist is a little more curated and it's a little more refined, and I became very picky with it. So I picked very specific artists and very specific types of music to be in there. Whereas this one, there's like mixes of different time periods and different genres. So R&B, there's music from like the 50s in here, 60s, 70s, 80s. Like it's a whole mix. Because, you know, in 90s rom-com movies, they just have a whole mix of different artists and different genres. The music of my people is anything bachata and merengue related. The music of my Dominican people, my home country. Whenever I feel very nostalgic about DR, I just put this playlist on and I am immediately transported to my grandpa's house where he's sitting under the mango tree and I am playing with the pigeons and getting chased by ducks and getting almost bitten by crabs that are just casually walking by. Golden oldies are 50s, 60s, and 70s and some 80s classics. We got ABBA, we got Nina Simone, John Denver, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles. It's just a lot of good stuff. Simon and Garfunkel. This playlist is a little particular. It's called You're a Designer in New York City Who Likes Coffee Shops, Cigarettes, and Dim Lighting. Close your eyes and picture that. I might have big glasses. I might have a few too many cats, but I have a very colorful wool coat that I wear in the wintertime while carrying my current edition of The New Yorker with a cigarette and like some red flats, and I'm about to go get coffee at my favorite coffee shop that's like not modern at all. It's been there since the 50s, but I'm listening to this playlist. So we got a lot of bossa nova. I don't even know if I'm saying the genre right, or bossa nova. We have some classical, some opera in here, some what was his name? Oh man, I'm acting like such a fan and I can't even get his name out. The music will make you feel like you have such an articulate and very sophisticated taste in music, which you will, because obviously I'm creating the playlist. So by default, you already have good taste in music. Moving on. Wrapping it up here, I'm going to just rapid fire through these next playlists. Latina mode is for that sexy Latina that you have inside of you. Even if you're not Latina, you can listen to Latina mode and feel like you're a Latina, because Latina mode makes you feel more than a Latina. Take a shot every time I said Latina. We have Jay Wheeler, Feed, Rauw Alejandro, Bad Bunny, of course. We have some Tokisha, some Karol G, Rosalia. She Listens to Sade is a playlist only for people that listen to Sade and need just that secluded playlist where you can just indulge yourself in anything and everything that is Sade. Boy band crazy, you already know. Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, One Direction, Jonas Brothers. I might even have Naked Brothers Band in here. Okay, so this next playlist was actually private and I made it public recently because now I feel like people are worthy of knowing about Enya and listening to Enya. Now this playlist is called Enya and it's only Enya music. And if you don't know who that is, she is a princess, one of a kind of a woman, singer, entrepreneur, and honestly goddess of our time. My mom used to play her CDs for me when I was a baby, and I have not stopped listening to her ever since that time that she played her CDs. And she is one of my favorite artists because her music just transcends me. This music feels like my body is staying on this earth and my soul is levitating above, soaring through the clouds and landing in a grassy field somewhere in Ireland. Other than that, we made it to the end and I have not had a mental breakdown because I was just so overstimulated with all these factors around me, like the sizzling food that you probably hear in the background. But honestly, if I hadn't said anything, you would have thought that it was rain because I just listened back to it and it kind of sounds like rain sounds. So I'm going to stick to the fact that it's actually rain that you're listening to and not food sizzling on the stove. So thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of Mentally I'm Here podcast with Hilary Starr. I hope you all enjoyed it. There won't be an episode next week unless I can film it early in the week and then post it on Friday. But as of now, I don't think there's going to be an episode next week. But if there is, follow me on Instagram and I will keep you guys updated. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms and I will see you guys soon. Bye.